Are you guys buying fake healthy foods at the market? Well, healthy living can seem hard because there's so much noise and information out there promoting this and that from mainstream media, influencers, and even dietitians and doctors recommending things like sugar-laden drinks, bars, and so-called better options. But are they really better? You see, when a food is called healthy but contains tons of additives and ingredients that you can't even pronounce nor even find at the grocery store, then you have to think about that twice. And even if you can find all the ingredients and make them yourself at home, which I have done, by the way, it looks much different and spoils much faster than what you would buy at the store. And there's a reason. The way foods are processed and preserved also need to be taken into account. So today I'm going to share foods even the health-conscious consumer may be duped by, plus healthy alternatives. You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. Let's get right into it. So I'm kind of excited to announce this. Every month, I'm going to be giving away quality items that I personally love to several of my podcast listeners that simply give the show a rating and review. That's all you have to do to qualify to win. And for the month of August, I'm giving away sets of Yo Mama's keto certified condiments like ketchup, hot sauces, and their all natural, low carb, low sugar pasta sauces made with simple, minimal ingredients. These sauces are low sodium, contain no added sugar, and are made with healthy olive oil and fresh tomatoes, and no citric acid. Yo Mama's is a company that produces their sauces in small batches, which I absolutely love. And I know you'll love them too. So 3 of my listeners will receive $65 worth of quality sauce. That's $65 worth of sauce. And all you have to do to enter is just rate and review this podcast. And I will be reaching out to you on Instagram if chosen. So be sure you leave your IG handle in your review. Good luck. You guys know how picky I am about every ingredient and product I recommend. So you know anything I personally create won't be any different. So in case you haven't heard, I created my own supplement line called Bethany's Pantry. Nuzest has allowed me to formulate my own products under their company as a sister brand. Any and all of Bethany's Pantry products are created by yours truly, me. Every ingredient and sub-ingredient has been approved, again, by me along with the origin of the ingredient. The taste, texture, and overall combination of ingredients in my products are created specifically for those with sensitive tummies, designed to help improve digestion, nutrient absorption, and ultimately your health, all while making it enjoyable and easy to consume and incorporate into your daily lives. Now you can be 100% sure you are getting a little sipper item if it's under the Bethany's Pantry label. I'll be rolling out with new items gradually as time goes on, but for now, I currently have these 5 items available, which are my digestive support protein powder in vanilla, cacao, and strawberry, my plant protein bake mix, and digestive support L-glutamine. These are just a few of the many items in Bethany's Pantry to come, and I can't wait to share what's next. So head on over to nuzest-usa.com/Bethany's Pantry to check out everything I created. Again, that's nuzest-usa.com/Bethany's Pantry. nuzest-usa.com/Bethany's Pantry. All right, today I'm going to share some of the top fake healthy foods on the market that, yes, even the health-conscious consumer may be duped by. Now, replacing these everyday grocery items with nutritious, additive-free choices is the best way to help reduce inflammation, increase energy, and ultimately feel great and live your best life to thrive. Now, these foods are in no particular order. I am just listing them at random. So first up is yogurt-covered raisins and yogurt-covered breakfast bars and yogurt-covered basically anything that you can buy at the grocery store. So raisins in particular, let's just talk about that for a second, right? Because those are pretty popular. Raisins are good for you, and so is yogurt. So why wouldn't yogurt-covered raisins be a healthier option? Now, first of all, yogurt needs to be refrigerated. So having a shelf-stable yogurt item is red flag number one. And you have to look at the ingredients. I mean, if anyone is an ingredient reader, definitely check this out. So the ingredients in the mainstream covered raisins are as followed. Seedless raisins, okay, number one ingredient. Then after that, yogurt flavored coating. And then in parentheses, it has sugar, hydrogenated palm kernel oil, non-fat milk powder, yogurt powder, cultured whey and non-fat milk, whey powder, soy lecithin, which is an emulsifier, by the way, vanilla, tapioca dextrin, which is another form of sugar, and confectioner's glaze. That is in yogurt-covered raisins. Now, I'm appalled that these are touted as a healthy snack for kids or anyone. Instead, just take raisins, toss them in Greek yogurt, and freeze. You can do this with any dried or fresh fruit, and not only is it healthier, but it's also a lot cheaper to do, and we are all trying to save money these days. Am I right? Now, next up are veggie chips. Now, I'm not talking about the puffed veggie straws and veggie-shaped things. I'm pretty sure all my listeners are well aware that these veggie, quote, veggie chips and veggie straws that are puffed are definitely not veggies at all, right? But I'm actually talking about the vegetable chips that you can either buy in bulk or they do have them in bags as well. And they're obviously vegetables. You can see the taro root, you can see the beets. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. So I've made tons of veggie chips in my lifetime, but they never come out like they never taste or look the same as the ones you can buy at the store. Obviously, right? So the veggie chips sold in bags and in the bulk area are deep fried and loaded with salt that is iodized. That's the bad salt. That's not the salt we want. So we want to look for sea salt. Unless on the bag it says stated, made with sea salt or sea salt on the ingredient list. Now, I know brands are using better for you items and better for you even such as avocado, coconut, and olive oil to deep fry their chips in. But the phrase deep fried should be a red flag. So deep frying food, no matter what oil you use, completely changes the nutritional content and value of the food you're eating, whether that be vegetables, potatoes, chicken, etc. The food is soaking up so much oil. It's literally a sponge just soaking up that oil. And the nutrients are killed right when the food hits that hot oil. I'm still amazed when people order zucchini fries that have been battered in flour, then deep fried, and then they think it's a healthier option. Instead, make your own veggie fries or even French fries. It's not the potato that's unhealthy, you guys. It's the frying that chemically changes the compounds of the food. What I love to do personally is slice and cut potatoes into wedges, then lightly spray with olive oil and sprinkle with sea salt. Sometimes I put them in my air fryer, and then other times I roast them in the oven on a baking sheet. Both ways turn out amazing, and the potatoes are super crispy without just drenching them in oils where they literally become a sponge, right? So doing either the air fry version or the oven roasted version can just save you tons of, number one, money, but also just the nutritional value. The nutritional value is kept when you do this. So you can also do this with cut up vegetables such as taro root, beets, carrots, jicama, and other starchy veggies. You can serve them with homemade guacamole or salsa. That makes the perfect pair. So I have tons of recipes on my website, littlesipper.com, and also on my Instagram at littlesipper. So definitely check them out for more ideas. The comedian Jim Gaffigan once said, "A muffin is just a bald cupcake." And he was right. Muffins often have the same amount of sugar as cupcakes, even the so-called healthier looking ones, such as all bran, whole wheat, and banana nut. Now, I was looking at the bakery section in a Walmart, and they had Raisin Bran muffins in a 4-pack. And when I looked at the ingredients, the first ingredient was water, okay, but the second ingredient was brown sugar, among a slew of other ingredients like gums, soybean and canola oil, palm oil, and even artificial flavor. They didn't even bother to put natural flavors, which we should also stay away from anyways. So the sugar content in these muffins, you guys, there was 28 grams of sugar in just one muffin. That's the exact same amount of sugar in a Snickers bar. In fact, 2 whole full-size Reese's peanut butter cups contain less sugar than this muffin. And I have to say, even when we make them at home these days, I see recipes call out for 2 cups of sugar or even a cup of maple syrup to add to your homemade muffins. And I'm thinking, okay, yes, homemade will eliminate all the preservatives and chemicals, but let's get real. Like adding a cup of maple syrup is 214 grams of sugar. Okay. And the 0-calorie sweeteners aren't any better because they can cause digestive issues, headaches, and even disrupt our microbiome and alter our hormones. So try making them at home using bananas, dates, or even a 1/4 cup of unrefined coconut sugar to sweeten. Applesauce is also a great replacement for granulated sugar in a recipe. Trail mix and granola often seem healthy because it's a mix of nuts full of healthy fats, right? Many mixes have vegetable oils, sugar, and even natural flavors added to them, though. It's often not thought to check ingredients in trail mix because you can literally see the nuts in the package. And so you think, well, why would I need to check the ingredients when I can clearly see them right here? But it's always important to check because ingredients you can't see, such as vegetable oils, maltodextrin, flavorings, sugar, and other flavor enhancers and preservatives could be integrated in the mix. You can easily make your own mix where you can control everything that goes into it. Or there are some better for you options out there from different brands. Some brands that I personally like are Lark Ellen Sprouted Grain-Free Granola, Autumn Gold Grain-Free Granola, Paleonola Grain-Free Granola, Wild Way Peach Pecan Vegan and Keto Grain-Free Granola, and Perfect Balance Raw Trail Mix. Now, I'll go ahead and link all of these brands in today's show notes so you can go and check them out in more detail. So don't worry, you don't have to grab a pen, just go to today's show notes and they'll be linked there. So next up, fruit smoothies. Now, a delicious drink of fruit blended into a smoothie sounds like it's packed with nutrients, fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, right? Well, if you are purchasing the majority of the pre-made bottles and smoothies from the grocery stores, then most likely you are getting little to no nutrition. These fruity mixes are typically loaded with sugar and typically over 50 grams per serving. And many bottles contain 2 servings to make you think you are consuming less than you really are. So you always want to pay attention to the serving size and then how much a bottle has, how many servings a bottle has. So if you're looking at, let's just say the nutrition facts and it says, for simplicity's sake, it says 100 calories per serving, you want to look at how many servings are in that bottle because it could be 2 or 3. So then you have to double that. So when you're looking at the sugar content, if it says 50 grams of sugar, one whole bottle is 100 grams of sugar that you're downing in a quick 5 minutes that most people just drink those smoothies and smoothie mixes, right? So companies are also now adding gums and natural flavors and even stevia, which is an endocrine disruptor. I've previously mentioned that and talked about it on my Instagram. And they're also adding other preservatives to their drinks to help keep them on the shelves longer so they don't lose money if they expire before purchase. So always keep in mind, companies are trying to preserve the shelf life of their products as long as possible because that helps them not lose money, because once they expire, they're losing money. Again, the longer the shelf life, that's not a good sign. That's a red flag right there as well. So if you are craving something sweet, obviously you can just grab a fruit, grab an orange, a bowl of strawberries, anything, right? If it's a smoothie you are particularly looking for, I have countless of low sugar and even keto friendly smoothie recipes on my Instagram, including one that went viral just a few weeks ago, which is a zucchini chocolate smoothie that's thicker than a Wendy's Frosty. It's so good, you guys. You have to check it out. Now, speaking of fruit, we all know fruit is good for you, but dried fruit, yes, that can still be good for you and a good on-the-go snack. However, many companies are adding sugar to them. That's right. They are adding additional sugar to the already naturally sweet snack. The most common dried fruit companies are adding sugar to are pineapple chunks, cranberries, papaya, coconut, and tangerine. So definitely be aware of that. Fat-free cookies and snacks. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know by now that fat-free does not equal healthy. In fact, we need fat as long as it's the healthy kind found in avocados, chocolate, olives, and olive oil, pure nuts, eggs, and ghee. Those are just to name a few. But there are still those that look for fat-free versions of their favorite cookies, crackers, and snacks. And yes, they actually do exist. They are out there, these fat-free snacks. Now, there's fat-free and low-fat peanut butter, muffins, chips, cookies, and other eats companies are creating to cater to the fat-free diet culture. I was in the store the other day and even saw fat-free Fig Newtons. But again, just keep in mind, fat equals flavor. So if they remove the fat, they have to replace it with something else to keep it tasty. And that something else is often sugar. And we all know what sugar can do to our health when eaten in excess. So typically when you see the term fat-free, that's a red flag right there, because you know the ingredient list will most likely contain chemicals, added sugar, flavorings, and other preservatives to make it taste good and keep you addicted to the product. Now, we all think applesauce as one of the healthier alternatives out there for a sweet snack because, well, it's fruit, right? Well, in fact, applesauce can be one of the top fake healthy foods in your cupboard if you're not careful. I mean, apples are already sweet and can be used as a sugar substitute in baking for that exact reason. But many packaged applesauce brands are full of added sugars like high fructose corn syrup, natural flavors, and citric acid, of which we all know is made from black mold. And if you didn't know, I have an entire Instagram reel sharing about how citric acid is made from black mold and why you should avoid it. So, as an alternative to packaged applesauce, you can obviously make your own without the need for additional sweetening. You can literally just chop apples. You can leave the skin on for extra nutrients, or you can remove the skin. It's totally up to you. Puree it, and that's it. You don't have to add anything to it. Now, when you make your own, you'll notice it will turn brown from the oxidation. And this is totally normal, and it's actually what's supposed to happen. So then it makes you wonder why store-bought applesauce is a light golden color, right? So just some food for thought there. Now, if apples in general just bother your stomach, I know a lot of people with IBS and digestive issues have a hard time digesting apples, especially when it's uncooked. Cooked apples are a lot easier to digest, but if you want that applesauce consistency, you can swap out the apples if you make your own and use pears instead. Pears are great, so you could just do the same thing you would do for apples. Take some pears, cut them up, toss them in your blender, puree them, and it does have the same consistency as applesauce. And also, quick tip, apples can help with constipation. So there you go. Now, I feel like people forgot about couscous, and maybe that's a good thing, but if you're still on the couscous train, it does have some nutrients in it, but it is still a processed grain and it isn't the healthiest option out there. So what couscous is, it's made up of salmonella flour or durum wheat, and it is pretty easy to make and quickly prepared. So that's why a lot of people like it. They get home from work, just put it on the stove and it's made just in minutes. So, couscous, it does have some selenium, some plant protein and other nutrients found, but other nutrients, are just in the dish are just very minimal. So for example, fiber and potassium are slightly present in couscous, but not as much as in other foods. So couscous does have a lot of carbs, and especially in the prepackaged form, they're flavored. They have added sugar, sometimes even added like salt. So you just want to be very, very careful and aware. There's just a lot of other healthier options out there like quinoa and rice. Now, this was just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to pointing out the fake healthy foods on the market. There's so many, I could go for days just speaking on the topic. However, if you want to know my opinion on a specific item or topic and want it covered in the show, please let me know by leaving it in a rating and review of the show. Your feedback is always helpful and appreciated, and it truly helps the show grow, and it's a free way to support. So thanks again for joining me in this week's Bite of Knowledge. And remember, I come out with 2 episodes every week, every Monday, where I have shorter episodes called Bites of Knowledge, just like today's episode. And every Wednesday, I come out with a longer interview episode where I have guests from doctors to nutritionists, therapists, and other experts in the field of health, wellness, and nutrition. So I'll see you guys this Wednesday. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Resonant Media production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.